5 minutes with Phil. Do, 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 5 minutes with Phil. Yahoo! This episode of 5 Minutes with Phil is brought to you by Alvarez Acoustic Guitars. Vibrant, musical, 5 Minutes with Phil. Alright, this song goes out to Phil. The other night, Phil, when I was sleeping, I dreamed I held... Wait, that's inappropriate. Look, I'm not going to play much today. If you want to, you can... I'll cut a clip in of me playing earlier. I was absolutely shredding it, so I'll just cut that clip in now of me shredding. Go. Alright, so welcome to another episode of 5 Minutes with Phil. This is Phil, I'm Chris, that's my Alvarez acoustic guitar which is out of frame. And today's a bit different. We haven't really talked about sport. We haven't talked about the Commonwealth Games. Remember when Queensland won the State of Origin, Phil? God, those were good days, weren't they? Happy days. I'm well within striking distance here. I am aware that I'm poking the bear. What we have been discussing, and we've got a couple of things. We've got a couple of things. It's really piqued my interest here. Now, Phil said to me earlier today regarding 5 Minutes with Phil, what if we went 5 Minutes with Phil live? And I don't mean live like streaming online. He means live as in face to face with people, like close enough you could smell them. And I was like, yeah, dude, that sounds like a great idea. How are we going to do this? So we had to sort of plot it out a little bit, didn't we? And what I got out of you, when I said, what do you see this as, Phil? And Phil said, where were your words, mate? I wrote them down. I see it as a chance for people who don't know me but see the videos. So it's an opportunity for the people to actually meet you and talk to you and ask you questions. Yeah, get to know you and ask you some questions. And we sort of steamrolled it from there because Phil's idea, you said 2 hours. 2 hours in length with maybe a 15-20 minute interval. And yeah, so I was like, well, what are we going to fill it with, Phil? What are we going to do? And we came up with a few ideas. Guests who work within the NDIS, so certain coordinators and people close to Phil, such as Paul Chambers, an opportunity to come on and spruik what he does now, and sort of also talk about, the different things within the NDIS that you can do and that the workers can help you achieve. The other thing was maybe talk to some people, some interviews. Dale Duncan, we're talking to you, Dale Duncan. Ask for an interview, maybe have a chat, about being a local country artist, maybe ask you to play 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 songs. Failing that, not just one person, we could ask a couple of local artists, and instead of playing a set of 12 to 13 or 14 songs, Dale, they could probably do a short interview and play 1 or 2 of their hit songs to really sort of, draw up a new audience maybe. Do a Q&A with people. I could do a half-hour wrestling talk if you want. I could talk about why the WWE has ruined Becky Lynch's character. Yeah, and then also we've got some other ideas that we could roll into that as well. But that was one of the things Phil sort of said he had an idea about. The other suggestion was that instead of going on such a large scale, we could potentially go on a small scale where we could go to the pub and pick out a local, have a yarn, get to know them, sort of spruik their business a little bit on 5 Minutes with Phil, ask what they do, challenges, concerns in the local area, just a little bit of an interview. Come up to them with a mic and go, talk to me on the press. That sort of thing, Phil. Put it out to you guys, serious talk here. If 5 Minutes with Phil was to come to you, what would you like to see? Would you like interviews, conversations? Do you want to know more about Phil? Do you want to ask Phil some questions? Let us know in the comments of the video, because it's really important. Like, you know, everyone on YouTube's like, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Hey, you got the bell on? We don't want any of that, but just give us a comment about what you would like to see out of a live 5 Minutes with Phil. And yeah, that's about what we discussed there. Now, I had a bit of a thing with you, Phil, that I wanted to do with you, and I've brought it to you in the form of a quiz. Okay, so I hope you like quizzes. You might notice, Phil, you guys at home can't see this, I've got you on your number page, Phil. Now, you only need the top row, and I need you to answer this. And I call this quiz #DadLife. So, I'm going to ask you a question, then I'm going to run through the possible answers, and one of them's correct. I haven't cheated and had any of those all of the above questions, because they're a cop-out. So, 1 to 3 answers. So, you ready? First question. Hey everyone, so I'm here editing 5 Minutes with Phil. Here's the setup. So there's the timeline, all the videos, you know. And I noticed that 2 videos that I exported off of the file from today with the recordings had the same names. I don't know what happened. Apparently there's gremlins in the household at the Barnett home. So at the start of the quiz, it misses out on just a little bit of the stuff. So what I will do is I will read it again here and then know that I just relayed that to Phil. So the first question was, Saturday morning, how did I wake up? At 4:30 a.m. to my son saying, up, daddy, up. Number 2, surprisingly, I got to sleep in until 6:30 with my kids and wife. Or 3, to my wife vacuuming the floor and ramming it into the bed at 5 a.m. Sorry for the mix-up, guys. Enjoy the rest of the video. Which one do you think is the answer, Phil? We've got there number 1, is it? Phil selected number 1. 4:30 a.m. to my son saying, up, daddy, up. Phil, you are correct. On to next question. After a busy day with the kids, I needed to use the bathroom and I planned on having it as some quiet time too. How did that go for me? Number 1, quite well, and I managed to de-stress a little. Number 2, okay, I did realise though that I had a heap of invoices to send off, and then I spent 20 minutes in there until my wife asked if I was okay. Number 3, my eldest son came in looking for me, followed by my young son, who proceeded to ask me questions and fight with each other over a toy. Which one do you think the answer is, Phil? 1, 2 or 3? Number 2, you reckon? The answer was number 3. On to number 4. I recently purchased a new guitar. This morning, I played it to my youngest son who loves music. How did that go for me? Number 1, he proceeded to headbutt me and pull on the strings. Number 2, he cried and hated it because it was too loud. Or number 3, Mum interrupted me because my eldest son wanted to tell me that he'd done a poo. Which one do you think the answer is, Phil? Number 3? You are correct. Number 3, because my Mum interrupted me because my eldest son wanted to tell me he'd done a poo. Good job, Theo. He used the toilet. Alright, last question, Phil. To take 3 out of 4 here. At SummerSlam 2022 in the WWE, Brock Lesnar vs Roman Reigns. The winner of the match was, number 1, Roman Reigns, even though Brock tipped the ring over with a tractor. Number 2, Brock Lesnar after he pinned Roman Reigns using a tractor. Or number 3, the crowd after both men reconciled their differences, shook hands and parted ways. Which one do you think the answer is, Phil? You think number 3? Oh, Phil, you're wrong. It was number 1. Roman Reigns won the match, even though Brock Lesnar brought a tractor out and flipped the ring. That's the end of my quiz, #DadLife. The last question had nothing to do with being a dad. Alright, I guess that wraps up the video except for one final thing. It's Phil's birthday. 34th birthday, guys. So make sure you send out lots of birthday wishes. Happy birthdays to Phil. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Philip. Happy birthday to you. Tune into Land FM. It's not all Slim Dusty anymore. See you guys. Oh, one final thing. I actually I managed to sneak a song of my own onto Land FM, and it's not heavy metal. Phil approved it. I still haven't got that other song that you wanted on there, Sophie. So apologies. I'm waiting for that rap response as well. Take it easy, guys. Stay safe.